Yo guys, so Blizzard finally dropped some tuning for us tank enjoyers last night, so let's get into it. So Blood DK got an 8% ability damage increase, which I think is good, although unlike the other aura buffs in these patch notes, it doesn't really solve the current problem with tank damage, and that's just too much of our damage is coming from hero talent, and not our actual abilities. This is obviously a step in the right direction, however, but I don't know, it does leave a little something to be desired. It doesn't fix the core issues and seems more like a panic band-aid. Right now, tanks are doing around a third of a DPS's overall in a key, more on the higher end of the better specs, and I don't think that's a great place to be in. It's teetering on the edge of problematic in my opinion. And when some of the better tank players in the game are struggling to keep up, how does that fare to everyone else? Let me know what you think in the comments, but let's continue. VDH is next on the list with another 8% damage increase, but their mastery is actually being nerfed by 17%. It's definitely a weird thing to see on here. The damage buffs are kinda warranted since this spec was definitely on the lower end of the tanks, but the mastery nerfs don't really make any sense considering mastery was already a stat you didn't really care too much for. It won't really change anything, just a nice damage bump. Guardian Druid is up next with a massive 12% ability damage increase. This is honestly an interesting one because I think it kinda shows what Blizzard were looking at when doing tuning this time. And hint, it's not raid related. In keys, Druid definitely did need some love, I will say that. Myself and many others have been preaching how down bad the spec has felt, and that's not even just in regards to their damage. So this is something at least. Again, it won't really change anything to their performance in the new season, but any buff is a good thing for Guardian right now. I just hope these aura buffs aren't the only thing we receive before the new season goes live. So that's it for the actual class changes, but there was one other relevant change for us as tanks, and it has to do with our Cloak in the new season. This thing got a huge 200% increase. I was a pretty big doomer about the Cloak for tanks before, as the proc felt fairly underwhelming on top of the fact the stat budget was actually worse than regular Cloaks, but this does make it kinda decent and you should actually feel when it procs now. Whether or not a damaging effect would be better is a different topic of discussion, but for a purely defensive item, it's not too bad. So that's it for last night's changes, a few aura buffs here and there, a random DH nerf, and a Cloak buff. With under 2 weeks until the new season drops, my hope for any relevant tank tuning is starting to dwindle. I'm currently working on class guides for all 6 tank specs to drop before the new patch goes live, so stay tuned for that, as well as tank guides for each of the new dungeons. Massive thank you to all my supporters over on Patreon and Twitch who keep the channel alive. You can support from as little as £1 per month. Check the description for links to Patreon, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and our Discord. And as always, thanks for watching. Much love, friends. See you in the next one.